Also included in this is a diverter kit. So in your diverter kit, you're gonna have a lot of things that are included here. So you're gonna have a couple different rubber pieces that are included here. So you're gonna have 2 of these rubber rings. You're gonna have 1 big rubber ring. You're gonna have an end cap here. You're gonna have a spigot. You're gonna get a hose to connect your rain barrel to. You're going to get some screws to connect your diverter as well as your lid. You're going to get a diverter and a winter cap for your diverter. You're going to get a screen for if you want to put your rain barrel upside down, as well as some hole saws to install everything. So that's everything that's included. I'm missing one of my rubber rings. We'll find it. It's in here. Oh, it's in the barrel already. Okay. And that is basically everything you're gonna need to install your rain barrel. I'm gonna use a few other tools. The 2 things that you're really gonna need is a drill and a measuring tape. But other than that, basically everything's included. Like here, you also should think about your safety. So using safety gloves as well as safety glasses or goggles is also a good tip. So how you start off by installing your rain barrel is first you're going to choose where you're going to put your rain barrel. Does anybody already know where they're going to put their rain barrel when they get home? Okay, I saw your hand first. Okay, we're going to use your house as an example then, okay? So do you know if you're going to put your rain barrel on the right or the left side of your downspout? On the right. Okay, so set up on the other side, I guess. What? Yeah, let's. No, that's perfect. Okay, so it's gonna be set up like this. It's gonna be set up like this. And so the first thing that you're gonna want to do is make sure that the place you're gonna put your rain barrel is completely level. So we really like to go out and we like to tamp down the soil before we start. This is especially important if you're putting it in an existing garden, because plants will create a lot of air pockets, and so sometimes we'll have rain barrels tip over there. We then like to put gravel down and tamp it down and make sure that's completely level. We find that this is really important to make sure your rain barrel fills up properly, and also that your rain barrel doesn't tip over. So it's important to first start out completely flat. Then a lot of times we like to put concrete blocks down. You can use any sort of stand. Obviously we have a wooden stand here. You have to make sure it's really sturdy, because this rain barrel, when it's filled up, is going to be probably 500 pounds. So we like to use, again, cinder blocks to give you a little bit of elevation. That's also helpful because this is a gravity fed system. So if you have a little bit of elevation, you can get it in a hose to a garden or something like that. So we like to elevate it. So that is where we start. So now pretend that we have leveled everything, and now we're ready to go onto the actual rain barrel. So we're going to take the rain barrel, and the first thing that we like to do is we're going to drill a hole into the rain barrel. So right now there's these 2 notches here, one on the right and one on the left. And you're going to pick where you're going to put your rain barrel, and you're going to drill into that notch. So we're going to put it on the right, so we're going to drill into this notch on the right. And so for that, you're going to need the smaller hole saw. So we're going to open up our hole saw kit here, put it together. It's a little bit greasy, so sometimes it is good to use gloves so you don't get grease on your hands.
Can you say the hole saw from the kit?
It comes with the kit, so you just need a drill. So we're gonna put that together, put it in the drill. I would recommend using safety goggles for this. It's not as important as drilling into downspout, but it's always good to use safety goggles when you're drilling. I'm sorry I don't have any safety goggles today. So you can, a lot of times it's helpful to hold your barrel however you want. You don't want it to roll away from you, so you can have whatever strategy you want here. And you're gonna just drill into the barrel. Just like that. Camille, do you wanna do yours too?
Does anybody else know which side they want their rain barrel to be on before I drill into this? Right?
The idea, because you want that barrel to go home with the person that,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
so whoever that was, that's who it was.
Okay, so a lot of times after I drill it, there's like these shavings here. I like to file it off just so it looks nice. It's not necessary, but just, you know, it looks nice. So we'll file it off a little bit. I also feel like it helps the rubber sit a little bit better. I think Camille is gonna drill now.
So I see you have a hole on the face of that downspout.
Yes.
Can you drill it to the side of it?
You can drill into the side of it as long as it's big enough. This downspout is 1 inch by 2 inches, but some downspouts are 2 inches by 3 inches. As long as it's 2 inches wide, you can drill into it. This hose is pretty long though, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, so once we drill into it, then we have to put our bigger rubber ring into it. So the best way I've found to put it in is fold it in half and then put it in the hole that you just drilled, and then it will open up into it. That's a lot easier than trying to force it in. So once we have done that, we're going to go onto the front then. So I already have one of these rubber things in here. So now there's gonna be 2 rubber rings for these front 2. These front 2 rubber rings are also going to have threads in them, so you can thread something into them. So that makes it easy to tell which ones are in the front and which ones are in the back. So again, I like to fold it in half and just put it in like that hole there. Okay, there we go. And once we have that, I'll put it back over here so it's easier to see. Once we have that, we will now put our spigot and our cap on. So the spigot is gonna go on the top hole. It's best to use water from that because the water coming off of your roof is gonna come with some sediment from your roof, as well as like leaves or anything else that comes into your gutter, into like your gutters or down your downspout is gonna come into your rain barrel. If you let it sit for even a couple hours, a lot of times we recommend 24 hours, all of that will settle down to the bottom and shouldn't cause you any problems. But that's why we put the spigot on the top. So we'll screw in the spigot to this top part. Then we're going to screw in this cap to the bottom. So this water can be emptied out at the bottom. You can use this on stuff, but again, since it's dirty, a lot of times we don't recommend it on like anything, like especially anything that you're gonna eat, but also sometimes people just empty that out onto their grass. So we're gonna put that on the bottom here.
How tight do you tighten this?
It'll like stop tightening. I've never really heard of anybody having any problems with like leaking because it is a rubber ring. So I don't know, as tight as you think it should go. I normally try to tighten it all the way till the threads don't show, but it's kind of hard if you don't have a wrench. Using a wrench can be helpful too. Okay, so now all of that is installed. Once Camille gets that, we can move on to the next part.
So if you put the spout there, it was just empty out 2/3 of the way. And you have sitting water then?
So that's what, so I would empty the cap out every so often too. I would not recommend letting your water sit for more than like a week, maybe a little over a week, because it will get stagnant and that's obviously not ideal. So you can use that water for other things, but it might be a little bit dirtier. So I would recommend like being cautious of what you're using that on, but you can also just empty that out onto the grass. Again, this rain barrel is like really helpful for you to be able to use this water for things, but the main goal for us is to be sustainable, like to help the water like slow down. And so if you can help to capture 50 gallons of water, that's like super helpful for the environment, and Lake Michigan will thank you. So if you can even just wait till the next day after it rains to empty that out, that's super helpful.
Otherwise you get more mosquitoes, right?
So this is actually a completely sealed system, so you won't have mosquitoes. It will get stagnant though because it's just sitting water, but it's a completely sealed system, and it's also a dark barrel, so there won't be any algae growing in it either. So those aren't things that you should be worried about. Okay, so once we have all of that set up, then you're gonna go and drill your downspout. So we obviously already have it drilled, but we'll show you how to do it. So we like to take a level, because we already used a level to level your ground, but you can take anything that's like a flat board or something like that. You're gonna take that and you're going to put it on top, you're gonna measure down, and you're gonna mark in between 2.5 and 3 inches. That's where we found through like some different testing is like the sweet spot for it to be the perfect angle for the water to drain down. And so you're gonna mark a little mark there, and then you're gonna use the bigger hole saw to drill into this. So you're gonna put the middle of the drill onto that mark that you just made, and you're gonna drill into your downspout there. That I also would be pretty careful with because you're drilling into metal, so it'd be kind of sharp. So I do like to use gloves for that, and also safety goggles. I also really do recommend filing that off because there can be sharp parts that like stay on when you do that. So once you have that all done, then you're going to go on to your diverter. So we use on our rain barrels a diverter, which is a pretty cool part. So I'm gonna pass around a couple diverters so you can look at them as I'm talking about them. Start for the different sides of the room. So the diverter is a piece that we're gonna put in your downspout. The diverter, and in your downspout, the water is gonna collect on this outside part and then go into your rain barrel here. Once your rain barrel is full, the water is gonna fill up in this outside part and just go down your downspout like normal. That's super helpful to prevent any overflows, and also to prevent any like tipping or anything of your rain barrel. So once you have finished all of this part, you're gonna put your diverter in here. A lot of times you have to squish it a little bit and then just put it in. And then here's where you're gonna use two screws to screw that in as well. They're self-tapping screws, so you shouldn't have to drill before, but if you want to, you can also drill a hole there. From there, you're also going to, then you're gonna take this hose, I guess, that we have, and you're gonna connect the hose from the diverter to this hole. So put this in here. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to get it in because it is like a tight fit. So a lot of times I just wiggle it in until it gets in here, but some people like to use like chapstick or other things to get it in. And then you'll put it in there, and then you'll put it in your diverter. Okay, so now your rain barrel is basically set up. The one last thing that you have to think about is how you want the lid to your rain barrel. So you have, yeah.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
Your, whatever we call that.
Yeah, the hose, yeah.
The hose, the lovely noise one. Does it, do I want it to be shorter and closer? Do I want it to be stretched out more? Does it matter?
It doesn't, we haven't found that it matters. Like Karen says, they fill up super quickly.
Okay.
So it's like 12 gallons a minute. Maybe there is something that's like more or less efficient, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna hinder it that much. Your rain barrel is probably gonna fill up every time you have a rainfall more than an inch. Like, it fills up very quickly. So you could do some experimentation on that, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah.
As long long as the other end is down, it should.
Exactly. As long as the other end is down, it shouldn't matter. So now the last thing we have to decide is how we want our lid. So there's kind of two different ways you can do your lid. So you can do it like more the conventional way, I guess, that's like this, or you can flip it upside down like this and actually plant a little garden on top. So you can put like dirt and plant some flowers in there. So if you're going to put it the more conventional way, you're gonna, there's like a lip here that you're gonna push it on over. Sometimes the lids do get, because they're all stored together, they do get a little like bent, but because it's black plastic, if you put it in the sun for like 10 minutes, it will become a form that you can put on here. Then you're going to want to screw in the last two screws that you have into your rain barrel. There's little places to put the screws. That's really important so your lid doesn't fly away. If you want it to be a garden, now we have to get it off. If you want it to be a garden, then you can take this piece that's in the middle out. So you just squeeze it and it comes out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of muscle. Okay, so you're gonna take this piece out and you're gonna put in this grate. So you're gonna put this grate here. This allows the plant to drain through so that you're not causing any root rot to your plant. You're gonna put it on top here. You want to make sure either to plant it right away or put like a brick or a rock on top, because otherwise the lid again will fly away. So make sure to consider that as well. Okay, so that's basically how you install your rain barrel. Now I'm gonna go over a few maintenance things, unless you have any questions right now. Yeah, go for it.
Does it wear the lid out more because of the weight of the dirt and everything?
Can you say that one more time?
If you plant on the top, is that gonna wear the lid out more faster because of the dirt in it and weight?
I haven't seen that too much. Honestly, these barrels are pretty durable. I've only been in this program 2 years, but I've heard and even seen rain barrels that are like 10 years old that are still doing great. So I'm not sure about exactly wear and tear there, but I don't think it's that much of a problem. They're pretty sturdy. Was there another question? Yeah.
How big should that cinder block base be?
So we do, what did we just get today? Like 8 by 8 by 10, and we use 2 of them. The rain barrel doesn't have to sit like perfectly on it, but a normal size cinder block, like we went to Menards today and picked up some more, and it was just like a normal size cinder block. We like to get ones that have like nice, it's like a nice pattern on the outside, so it looks nice when you put it there. So that can be like a thing that you look into. But just a normal standard size cinder block is generally what we use.
Just one?
We use 2 as a base. Yeah, we use 2 as a base. You can also use like some people have like concrete tiles types of things that they use. Just some sort of base to keep it flat is nice. Was there another question? Yeah.
Overflow.
Yeah.
Does that diverter block the entire downspout?
Nope, it does not.
So we always have something coming out the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
as well as filling.
So
And then what happens when the rain barrel is full and it's still raining?
yeah, so here I'll show you. Is there any diverters at the back of the room that I could show? Oh, perfect. I didn't have to take it out. Okay, so the water naturally will cling to the side of the downspout, and that will like fill up your rain barrel first. But once the rain barrel is completely full, this outside will fill with water, and no water can go down your rain barrel anymore. But this is still open like your normal downspout. So water will still come out your downspout like very like normal. Like it still has a good chunk of space that it can come down. So once your rain barrel is full, there shouldn't really be any overflow problems because of this diverter.
I just want to quickly add on to that. I know it looks kind of funky that that little hose is almost parallel with the barrel and your downspout, but it's really important that you don't put it too high because then it will overflow.
Mm-hmm.
So you really want to make sure you're that 3 or 2.5 below the top of your barrel.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, if it's too low, like if you put it too parallel, then it's not going to fill up at all. But if you put it too high, that diverter doesn't work as well. So my boss did some experimentation at his house, and he found that 2.5 inches is like optimum for that. Yes. now we're gonna go on to maintenance unless there's any more questions. Okay, so for maintenance, there's not too much to maintain here. The biggest thing, so the biggest thing is winter maintenance. So in the winter, we normally recommend around Halloween that you take your rain barrel, you disconnect it. We recommend cleaning it out, so just washing it out quickly and storing it upside down. You can store it, we recommend inside so it has less wear and tear, so in like a garage or a basement. It can be stored outside, but it needs to be upside down if it's gonna be stored outside to make sure it doesn't freeze and break the barrel. After you disconnect the barrel, you're also gonna take out the diverter and you're gonna put on your winter cap. So this winter cap is just gonna cover up the hole that you had drilled, and you're gonna use the same 2 screws that you used to screw in the diverter, and you're gonna screw this over your downspout, and it's just gonna act like normal. So it's just gonna be a cover for your downspout. So that's the biggest part of maintenance. You're gonna keep it stored away until what we like to say is Earth Day, so until early spring in April, and then you're gonna take it back out and install it again like normal. We recommend using gloves when you reinstall it just because the edge of that downspout can be a little bit sharp, so you wanna be careful of that. The other piece of maintenance that can sometimes be important is just making sure you maintain your downspout as well. So if you install your rain barrel near a tree, your downspout can get leaves in it just like your gutters get leaves in it. So if you notice that your rain barrel is not filling up like normal, sometimes you can just take your downspout out, make sure to clean up the leaves, and then put it back in. Your diverter out. So that's a big part there. Another thing that seems simple but is important is that you put the downspout up like a cup instead of upside down. So we do get a lot of calls where people are like, my rain barrel is not filling up, and we find that they put it upside down. So make sure that you put it up like a cup. So that's about it for maintenance. Is there any other questions? Yeah.
Will those rubber parts harden or otherwise degrade over time, and if so, are there replacements readily available?
Yeah. So again, I think that they're pretty sturdy, but where we a lot of times recommend people go find parts is rainbarrelparts.com. That is a wholesaler that has all of these parts that we have. They also have some like more extravagant things. So if you're looking to upgrade your barrel, you can go to rainbarrelparts.com. We also have a lot of resources on our website of other places that you can get stuff. Also, a lot of just hardware stores nowadays do have a lot of these parts.
Any difference in installation with the downspout that is more round versus a rectangle?
Yeah, so we do recommend a circular diverter. Again, that can be found on rainbarrelparts.com. We also found them on Amazon or again a hardware store. They can be found a lot of different places, but if you have a more circular one or even like an octagon one, a circular downspout is probably going to be your best bet. Again, water, because of like viscosity, is gonna hold on to the side of your downspout. So the more of your diverter that you can put on the edges of your downspout, the more water you're gonna get in it. Any other questions? Yeah.
When you said 2.5 to 3 inches down from the rain barrel, is that with the cover on or off?
That's with it off.
Off.
So you take the cover off, and then you put something flat. We put the level on it, and then you're gonna measure from that down. Any other questions? Okay, I think we might have a few slides at the end here.
Yeah.
Do we have a few slides?
If you want to go back on actually, awesome. So that wraps up our formal presentation and the workshop. Again, we do have 50 barrels here today. If you have a car, like let's make sure we think about that. That's going to be able to take that. You can take one home right now. If you want to take a certificate, you can also pick one up at MMSD's headquarters, and if you're not able to pick it up today, or if you want to hold off and maybe you're interested in a rain garden, we'll still have your contact information. You can still get a rain barrel later in the summer.
Yeah. I think most people mentioned that they did want to take one home today. So you'll get the rain barrel. Are the kits like in the barrel literally? Yep. Can you give me the flyer? The Korean summer flyer. I also want you to take at least one of these with you to give to your neighbor, a friend, someone that you know, to show them what a great idea it is. And especially we're so early in the summer that they could get one too. So do that. Do you have yard signs today too? Okay, I didn't know. So we're gonna do a little bit of a process to try and keep this orderly and safe. So is the van right there?
Yes, the van is right there.
So the van is right there. There's library people coming and going, so please be super careful. They're not super heavy. You can probably walk it to your car. But we've got kind of a little process here, kind of like when you checked in. I have A through L, Devin has the back of the alphabet. It's kind of like a movie theater. We're gonna give you a little card with a number on it. We're gonna write your name on the back of this card. On our sheet, we're gonna write down your number. And then when you get your rain barrel, you'll hand this to one of, I don't know who's gonna be out there.
I'm gonna be outside handing out rain barrels, maybe with like Clay and Maya. And then Camille's gonna be in here with Karen and Kayla to answer any questions that people still have.
Yep. So also come and check in with us if after hearing this and seeing her with a drill that you're like, no, I want us to do it for you. Yeah, question?
If you're already scheduled for installation, do you pick one
Are
up
you
here?
Dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
pick it up here or do they bring it?
If you want to, do you still want them to install it for you this week? Then just after this, you can just leave. We've got you on the calendar.
Is there a cost for installation?
As part of this program, it's
Really good, I'll sign up.
yeah, so check back in with us. The team's probably gonna be installing rain barrels starting a couple weeks from now. And then, so you all know, we already have over 100 people interested in this program. Your city newsletter that comes out the end of May is gonna have a little snippet about the program and people can sign up. So in some communities, we've had 500 people sign up within 2 days, in Glendale, for example. So we'd love to try and accommodate as many of you all as possible, so as new people find out about the program, we can do as we can. But check in with us if you want us to install one, and we'll we do a lot of this by email and phone, trying to schedule it. And be patient, there's a lot of months in summer.
I have one last slide. We would love if you followed us on social media. Again, you can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Both the Green Summers will have a Facebook page, but also MMSD would love if you follow along with what we're doing, and the Fresh Coast Guardians as well. Also, if you would like one of these snazzy t-shirts that we're wearing, you can go to our website and you can send us what your why is. So post a picture of your rain barrel and say why you want to help to protect Lake Michigan, and we'll send you one of these t-shirts.
I also wanted to just say, if you have any questions when you're actually installing, we have a video on the Fresh Coast website that goes through the exact same instructions that Mackenzie just did. So if you want a quick refresher, that's available to you as well.
And a lot of other
Also,
resources.
just now posted on the Franklin Green Summer Facebook.
Awesome.
All the instructions.
Sounds good. That's all we have.
Yeah, so I think maybe if anybody has any questions about the rain barrel or anything like that, you want to come over here, and then if you're ready to.
Yes, those are rain barrels, 55 gallons each. I have 100 sitting there. So, you know, go home or go big. That's my idea. Each rain barrel out there will hold 55 gallons, which is the equivalent of ½ an inch of rain on a 350 square foot impervious area. And by impervious, I mean a roof that's impervious because no water soaks into it. So I have the capability with 100 barrels. That's a lot of water. Yeah. What is it, 55 gallons? That's 5,500 gallons of water, rainwater. And as we know, in the Midwest and in many parts of the world, you have periods, naturally occurring periods of drought and rain. So my hope is I'll be able to collect the water. So should we go through a normal drought or dry period in the Midwest, I will have plenty of water to water a garden I'm designing. I think cold frames, raised garden, that'd be pretty cool. So, just want to let you know. All right. This is the rain barrel I got free at the talk you just heard. Here are the instructions on how to install it. The wonderful talk. And this is all the literature they handed out. And here's the package of all the parts that you need to set up the first rain barrel. Now this rain barrel will be the first one. It'll be connected to the downspouts, and then it will daisy chain with all the other rain barrels I just showed you. It's going to be a lot of water. It'll be an interesting project. As always, when I asked the people at Fresh Coast, I said, what about more than one rain barrel? And said, well, we've never done it. I have no idea how it's supposed to be done. Another interesting thing I asked him about is, where does the word Fresh Coast come from? It has to do with the fact that we're the largest, the lakes, Michigan, Erie, etc., the Great Lakes are the largest body of fresh water in the world. So that's why it's called Fresh Coast. I thought that was kind of cute. Love y'all. Peace. Talk to you later. Bye.